Imagine two neighboring countries that begin the same decade with similar populations, similar natural resources, and similar opportunities in front of them. Their cities look comparable, their workers earn roughly the same wages, and their governments speak confidently about future prosperity. Yet 20 years later, one country enjoys rising incomes, thriving businesses, and a steadily expanding middle class, while the other struggles with stagnant wages, limited opportunities, and a constant search for economic relief. At first glance, the difference appears mysterious. Politicians may blame trade agreements, global competition, or changing technologies. Businesses may point toward taxes or regulations. Citizens may focus on individual decisions or cultural differences. But beneath all of those explanations lies a deeper economic mechanism that quietly determines how expensive it is for a country to remain low-skilled in a world increasingly driven by knowledge, specialization, and productivity. When economists discuss skills, they are not merely referring to formal education or university degrees. Skills represent the ability of workers to create more value per hour of labor. A highly skilled worker can often produce significantly more economic output using the same amount of time than a worker with fewer specialized capabilities. This difference may emerge from technical knowledge, experience, training, access to advanced tools, or the ability to solve complex problems. What matters economically is not the title attached to the worker, but the amount of value generated through their labor. The reason this matters becomes clear when examining how wages are ultimately determined. Many people assume wages are set primarily by generosity, fairness, or government policy. While those factors can influence outcomes at the margins, wages over long periods tend to reflect productivity. A company can only sustainably pay workers according to the value those workers help create. If an employee generates $50 of value per hour, paying that employee $100 per hour would eventually bankrupt the business. If an employee generates $200 of value per hour, the company gains room to offer substantially higher compensation while remaining profitable. This creates the first hidden cost of being a low-skill economy. Lower productivity places a ceiling on wages. Even when workers put forth tremendous effort, economic output remains constrained if labor is concentrated in activities that create relatively little value. Two people can work equally hard, equally long hours, and display equal dedication, yet produce dramatically different economic results depending on the systems, tools, and skills available to them. Consider a simple example involving manufacturing. Imagine one factory where workers use advanced automation, sophisticated software, and specialized training to produce 1,000 units per day. Now imagine another factory where workers rely on older equipment and limited technical expertise, producing 200 units per day. The workers in the second factory may actually exert more physical effort, yet the first factory generates far greater output. Over time, the higher output environment supports higher wages, larger investments, and greater economic expansion. The consequences extend far beyond individual paychecks. Low-skill economies often become trapped in industries characterized by intense competition and narrow profit margins. When many countries can perform similar low-complexity tasks, businesses compete primarily on cost. The easiest way to reduce costs is often through lower wages. This creates a difficult cycle in which workers cannot easily command higher incomes because businesses face constant pressure to remain the cheapest option available. The mathematics behind this cycle are surprisingly powerful. Imagine a worker generating $20,000 of economic value annually. Even under favorable conditions, wages, benefits, taxes, infrastructure costs, and business expenses must all be paid from that amount. Now imagine another worker generating $100,000 of economic value annually. The second economy suddenly possesses far greater flexibility. Governments collect more tax revenue. Businesses earn larger profits. Workers receive higher wages. Infrastructure receives more funding. Investment becomes easier. The same person working similar hours can create dramatically different economic outcomes depending on productivity. As productivity rises, another important mechanism begins operating. Businesses become willing to invest more aggressively. Investors seek environments where skilled workers can transform capital into profitable growth. A nation filled with engineers, technicians, scientists, managers, healthcare specialists, software developers, and advanced manufacturing experts becomes attractive because investments are more likely to generate meaningful returns. Capital naturally flows toward productivity. A low-skill economy experiences the opposite effect. Investors may hesitate because growth opportunities appear limited. Businesses may focus on extracting value rather than creating new value. Foreign companies may arrive primarily to access inexpensive labor rather than develop sophisticated industries. While such investment can still provide employment and economic benefits, it often produces less upward mobility than investments centered around high-value innovation and specialization. The hidden cost becomes even larger when technology enters the picture. Technological progress tends to reward skilled labor disproportionately. New software, automation systems, artificial intelligence tools, and advanced machinery often amplify the productivity of workers who already possess specialized knowledge. A skilled engineer using advanced software may become dramatically more productive. A trained technician operating sophisticated equipment may oversee processes that once required dozens of employees. For economies with strong skill development systems, technology can accelerate growth. For economies with weak skill development systems, technology can create a widening gap. The issue is not that technology replaces everyone. Rather, technology increasingly rewards workers capable of working alongside it. Nations that fail to build those capabilities may discover that global productivity advances make their relative position weaker over time. Another overlooked cost appears within government finances. High-skill economies generally generate larger tax bases because incomes, profits, and business activity tend to be greater. This creates more resources for infrastructure, education, healthcare, transportation networks, and research initiatives. These public investments often strengthen productivity further, creating a reinforcing cycle. Low-skill economies face a more difficult equation. Lower incomes generate lower tax revenues. Limited revenues restrict public investment. Reduced investment makes future productivity improvements harder to achieve. The challenge becomes self-reinforcing unless deliberate efforts are made to improve workforce capabilities and economic complexity. Economic complexity is a concept that helps explain why certain countries consistently outperform others. Some products require enormous networks of specialized knowledge. Designing aircraft, advanced medical equipment, semiconductors, industrial software, or precision manufacturing systems demands thousands of interconnected skills. Economies capable of producing such products often possess deep reservoirs of expertise distributed across businesses, universities, suppliers, and institutions. By contrast, economies concentrated primarily on simple production activities have fewer opportunities to capture the highest value portions of global supply chains. They may participate in economic activity without controlling the stages where the largest profits and productivity gains occur. This does not mean simple industries lack value. Every economy needs a variety of sectors. The issue arises when economic development becomes heavily concentrated in activities that are difficult to scale with higher productivity over time. There is also the psychological dimension. In low-skilled environments, young people may struggle to see clear pathways toward advancement. Businesses may invest less in training because opportunities appear limited. Workers may focus on short-term survival rather than long-term skill accumulation. These behavioral responses are understandable, yet they can reinforce existing economic conditions. In contrast, environments that reward skill development Workers pursue certifications, technical expertise, and specialized knowledge because tangible opportunities exist. Businesses invest in employee development because productivity gains generate measurable returns. Educational institutions align more closely with labor market needs. Over decades, these seemingly small decisions compound into significant national advantages. Perhaps the most important realization is that the true cost of being a low-skill economy is not merely lower income today. The larger cost is lost compounding. Every year of slower productivity growth reduces future investment, future wages, future innovation, and future opportunities. Just as compound interest can transform small savings into large wealth over time, compound productivity can transform modest economic advantages into enormous differences across generations. This is why the most successful economies rarely focus solely on working harder. Their primary objective is becoming more productive. They invest in education, vocational training, infrastructure, research, technology adoption, and institutional quality because these factors increase the value each worker can create. Higher productivity supports higher wages, stronger businesses, larger investments, and more resilient economic growth. The question is therefore not whether people in low-skilled economies work harder. In many cases, they work extraordinarily hard. The deeper question is whether economic systems consistently help workers become more productive over time. The nations that solve that challenge tend to discover that prosperity is not created by effort alone, but by steadily increasing the amount of value that effort can produce, year after year, generation after generation.